I'm Peter Fu, and I was one of the kids who was in the film The Inn of the Sixth Happiness. Well, my father was forcibly deported from this country when I was only about 2 years old, and so I didn't know anything about my father. So I was brought up by my mother, but I did have 3 older half-brothers, and then I had a younger sister. She was about 20 months younger than me, something like that. And right up until the film, I went down with me sister and mother down to Southampton, where my mother had remarried. Oh, I've got to say, like, my father had been deported when I was a kid, so we had no fathers other than the 3 elder brothers I had, half brothers. And so my mother has been married altogether about 3 times throughout her life. And when I was selected to go to North Wales to go and do this film, I think we were in North Wales about 5 weeks, something like that. And while I was in North Wales, my mother, who really wanted me to go to America with her, and my younger sister, I had loads of friends who told me that in America it's worse than this country for racism. So I said to my mother, I don't want to go to America. And she said, okay. And she agreed that I stayed. And when my mother went to America and I was in North Wales, she's replaced by her mother, i.e. my grandmother. And it was just the middle brother and I who still lived together in Beaconsfield Street. And so it was replaced by my grandmother. But my grandmother come to the house with a little girl. Her name was Joan Wong. And when I come back from North Wales, I think I was home for roughly about a week. And then I had to go down to London because I was selected to go for more close-up work down in London. We're down there roughly 2 weeks down there filming. And when I came back home after the 2 weeks, so in total that's like 8 weeks, roughly about 5 in North Wales, 1 home, 2 down in London, and then back home. And my grandmother said to me brother and I, she says, I'm going off now to North Wales for a week's holiday with Joan, a little girl. She's only about 4 or 5 at the time. So she goes off. But while she's away in North Wales for the week, she only dies in her sleep. And I thought, oh no, bloody hell. Anyway, the next thing is, my brother, who was 10 years older than me, by the way, at the time. So I was about 14 and he was about 24. He brought me up then. Just him and I stayed together, lived together, until I left and got married.
What happened to Joan?
Joan actually went back with her mother. And I can't remember. I think they. Oh, I can't
She
remember.
related to Mark Wong.
Correct,
She
it's
was,
his
wasn't
sister.
she?
Yeah,
His sister, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So by this time, you're married. When did you find out that your father was actually deported?
Oh,
That-
look, years and years later. In fact, I was invited. I got a letter from me half sister, who was. My father actually ended up in Singapore. That's where he actually was deported to, because of what was going on in China just after the war.
Whereabout was your father from?
Hainan.
So when you were young, where did you think your father was? Did you ever think about your father?
No, because never spoke about it, and my mother never spoke about him because I can't remember anything because we never discussed anything. I've got a funny feeling she never discussed my father purely because she thought he had just left us and that was it. And so I didn't know nothing about, so it wasn't worth me trying to ask my mother for any information or anything. Anyway, yeah, I was married and I had one or two kids. I can't remember everything, but anyway, I got a letter from this girl. She was my half sister from Singapore because my father actually got married from a girl and she was from Hainan. So I don't know how that came about. But anyway, the thing is that there's this girl, she's the eldest of the three of them from Singapore, and the letter, I've still got it by the way in the house, although I haven't read it for years. She was just telling me, I can't remember everything what she said now. But anyway, it ended up for years after, because I had been invited to go to Singapore, or I was notified that my father was in Singapore, still alive and that. And I'm not sure how it came about. Someone asked if I want to go to Singapore, and I said, no, I don't want to be going to Singapore. As far as I'm concerned, my father had done a run on us. And eventually, he died because my mother had come back from America to this country in Liverpool, and she had a little shop in Park Road. It was a wool shop, you know, because she used to do a lot of knitting, always knitting. They both died the same year. Father in Singapore and my mother in Liverpool, because she'd come back from America. I've only met my brother, the half brother and two sisters in Singapore. The youngest is the brother. He's been over to Liverpool because he used to work for Kodak. I've been down to London and met him there. And the eldest sister came over, and she came actually into Liverpool and met us in that house.
When did you find out about the deportation?
Oh, it was only about 14 years ago, something like that. But before that, I went to Singapore with my wife and met them, the brother and two sisters. But by then, my father died anyway, so didn't know. And I asked them, no, I didn't ask them anything too much. And came back, and it was only after that it came out about the release of the Chinese sailors being deported, because it was under the Secrets Act in this country for 50 years. So it's can't remember exactly, but it's about, I don't know, I'm guessing now, 13, 14 years ago when I found out. But since then I have spoken I can't remember who it was now, but somehow I managed to ask the question, did they know about my father being deported? And they said no, because my father, while he was in Singapore, he was mainly going away to sea in there as well, so they hardly ever were that close all together, so as they could ask questions like that.
So, what would you like? Would you like an apology of the government?
Well, I know they're not going to give one.
Okay.
Even though it's been admitted. You know, I've got the paperwork. I've got all the paperwork from Kim Johnson, and a letter that they know that it did happen. But I know they won't apologise, because a lot of people think they're going to have to start paying out money. Because I remember when they first started talking about it years ago, someone turned around and said to me that I'll probably end up with about 60,000 quid. But I'm not interested in the money anyway. I'm not interested, because I'm ready to kick the bucket anyway, so it doesn't make any difference. But no, I would like them to apologise and say, yes, it did happen, and it did, and that's all there is to it, and we apologise. That's all I want to hear, but they won't do it. I know that this government, or any government, will not apologise about it.
Some people want to know what happened to their fathers or grandfathers, like where did they go? What ship were they on? You know, because they couldn't go back into China, could they? So what happened to them?
Don't know. They don't know really. Because I know that Mark Wong's father went to sea with my father, and sometimes they were on what do you call the ship?
Deep sea?
No, it was deep sea. Obviously, yeah. It was all deep sea. No, the tankers. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Tankers, because they used to come back with I'm not sure what it is, like petrol, oil, or whatever, but definitely got stuff from America to bring back to this country during the war.